So first we will do the first learning objective, which is to know how to write recurring decimal. So what is recurring decimal? Recurring means that something repeats over and over again. So we write recurring decimals in a certain way, so it's quicker and easier. So the success criteria to know how to write a recurring decimal are to identify the first dot. So in I do question example, the first dot is above 5. Identify the second recurring dot if there is one. So I've identified the second. Write the digits in order so that they are shown as a recurring decimal. Okay, so my recurring decimal looks like this. 0.58709. It's recurring, so I write again everything from the first dot to the last one. So again, 58709, 58709, and so on and so forth. So what I will ask you to do now is to do the second example in your books. Pause the video and take about a minute to write it down. Okay, so you should have 0.5046, 50456, and so on and so forth. Let's have a look at the next example. So again, I identify the first dot, then the second, and then rewrite everything between the second and the between the first and the second over and over again. So 509, 509, 509, and so on and so forth. Now you answer the next question in your books. Pause the video for a minute and write in your box. Okay, so what you should have is 0.506, 506, 506, dot, dot, dot. Let's do some more examples. So in here, we can see that the first dot and the second are at the digits next to each other. So that means that only those two numbers recur. So to write this recurring decimal, we write 49 and again 49, 49, 49, and so on and so forth. So now in your books, please do the next question. Pause the video for a minute and do it. Okay, so you should have now 0.565656. If you've done this, if you've got this decimal right, well done. Now let's have a look at the next one, which is slightly different. So again, make sure you identify the first dot and the second. Copy everything which is what is before it in the same way as it is. So 5.06, and this recurs from 4 to 9. So it's 49, and again from the first dot to the last. So 49, 49, 49, 49, and so on. So what I'll ask you to do now is to do the next question in your books. Pause the video. Okay, so what you should have is 16.056556, and so on. If that's what you got, well done. Tick with the green pen. And now let's do one more. So in here, have a look at our success criteria. So identify the first dot, so we've identified it. Identify the second recurring dot, where if there is one. So there isn't one, which means that only one digit is being repeated over and over again. So to write out this recurring decimal, excuse me, I just do 5.99999 and so on. Can you do the next one in your books now for me? Pause the video for a minute and do the next one. Okay, so what you should have is 16.666666. If that's what you got, well done. Now we've got individual practice. So answer these questions in your book. Pause the video for about 8 minutes and answer as many as you can. So it should be, you should already have your answers. So take about 1 minute, pause the video for 1 minute to mark your own work. I like when they are dots at the end because it shows that it continues. But I guess they are not necessary. We know how to write recurring decimals now, so we will use this to complete our second learning objective, which is to be able to order recurring decimals. So first I will do one example, then you will do another one in your books. So we have to order the following integers and decimals in ascending order. Ascending order means up. Going up from the smallest to the largest. Ascending, up from the smallest to the largest. Descending, down from the largest to the smallest. In this case, we have to order them in ascending order, so we need to identify the smallest and write it down from the smallest to the largest. Okay, so let's have a look at our success criteria. How do we do that? I'll read them out for you if you can't read it yourself, if it's too small. Write each decimal to have the same number of decimal places. Write the decimals in a list where the decimal points are in line. Identify the smallest first decimal place, that's the smallest value. Keep going. The last mixed number or decimal left will be the largest value. Okay, so first thing to do is to write each decimal to have the same number of decimal places. Let's have a look. So 7 has 0 decimal places. And next number has 3, 2, and 2. So this number has the largest number of decimal places, which is 3 decimal places. So we have to make each of them have 3 decimal places. So how do we do that? Let's take the first one, 7. 7 needs to have 3 decimal places. We know that every integer, we should know, has invisible decimal point and invisible infinite row of zeros afterwards. So I can write 7 as 7.000. It's the same value, the same as 7 pounds is the same thing as 7 pounds and 0 pence. Okay, so the next number is 8.654. Next one is 8.65, and this one has 5 recurring, so on the 1000th position we have another 5. And the last one is 8.65, and because this is not recurring decimal, we have in here 0 thousandths. So we've done the first one. Write each decimal, first success criteria, write each decimal to have the same number of decimal places. We've done the second one as well. So we wrote the decimals in a list where the decimal points are in line. Yeah, we can see they are in line. So now we have to identify the smallest. Okay, so going from the left, we look at each digit. So this is 7 units, 8 units, 8 units, 8 units. So this one is the smallest. So I write it down as a first number in the list in its original form. Okay, so now we need to find the smallest out of these three. So they've got, each of them have the same number of units, the same number of tenths parts, the same number of hundredths. So now we can compare it with respect to thousandths part. So 0, 4, and 5. 0 is the smallest. So the next number is 8.65. We can cross it off. Next one. Again, so next one will be 8.654 recurring, and the largest must be 8.65 recurring. Okay, so now pause the video and try to do next one yourself. So what you should have is them written down like this. And putting them back in order would be, so the smallest in ascending order, the smallest one is 4, then 4.21, then 4.21 recurring, and the last one is 4.212 recurring. So that's the largest one. Okay, let's have a look at some more examples. Again, I'll do one, you'll do one, and we will move on. Okay, so first of all, I write them with the same number of decimal places. So in here, we've got 2 decimal places in each number. So I will write and now I'll compare them. So again, we are writing in ascending order, so I need to find the smallest. So 7 is the smallest. Then we've got 8s. Okay, so we are looking at the last digit, so hundredth position. So we have 2 very similar numbers, 8.65 and 8.65 recurring. So to make it easier to compare it, we might go even more, one decimal place more. So 8.65 has a 0 after that, and 8.65 recurring, the next number will be 5. So which one of them is smaller? Of course, 8.65 is smaller. So it looks like the first 2 were already in order. So then next one is 8.65 recurring, 8.66, well, 6 recurring. We need to write them in their original form. So now pause the video for a minute and do the next question yourself. So what you should have is 4, again, we've got 4 is the smallest, then it's going to be one of those, so we might go up, write another decimal place for both of them to make it easier to compare, so we can see that this is 0, this is 1, so this one is larger, this one is smaller, that's why this one is next. So it's 4.21. Next one is 4.21 recurring, and the last one is 4.2 recurring. If that's what you've got, well done.